Man, imagine you kill Albert Einstein. Out of all the people you could have killed, you killed the... If in a different reality, a freaking duck lost one extra feather. I don't know what to think about it. Like, I just can't accept the fact that that could actually be a possibility. So does it? A simple guide to chaos theory. Or in other words, the butterfly effect. Did I say butterfly effect? Let's watch this.
Imagine, the year is 1905. One day, the clock on the tower in Bern, Switzerland, is a little late. 2 minutes late, to be more precise.
2 minutes, not too much.
For that reason, a man who lives near the tower does not wake up at the same time that he usually wakes up to go to work. Realizing the mistake, he becomes a little nervous. It takes him a little longer to get dressed, drink some coffee, and leave the house. He leaves 5 minutes later than usual. He's about to cross the street. Meanwhile, a banker gets into his new car without knowing that it has a problem with the brakes. Our man crosses the street and doesn't see the car. The man is run over and dies. This man is no less than Albert Einstein.
Man, imagine you kill Albert Einstein. Out of all the people you could have killed, you killed the guy who could change the world. That would suck.
Einstein should have published 4 works that would become the basis of modern physics. Innovations like GPS, TV screens, the semiconductors that allowed us to create...
Wait, Albert Einstein actually created GPS? Or, I mean, the semiconductors that helps with that stuff? I had no idea.
Laptops never happen. The computer, the laptop, the mobile you are watching this video on never come into existence. And this...
Wait, so does it mean that without Albert Einstein, we would be like freaking cavemans, like living, or maybe not cavemans, but like we would literally still be in the 1800s? What the heck? I was not expecting that.
Video doesn't exist either.
This
sequence of events is an example of what is known as the butterfly effect, a manifestation of chaos theory. For many centuries, the world was explained through the laws of Isaac Newton in classical physics. According to these laws, if the current state of an object is known, its future behavior can be predicted with relative ease. Chaos theory questions this
In other words, if you know what's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
Deterministic vision. Not everything is predictable anymore, nor does it work like clockwork. Since the 1800s, mathematicians have raised the idea that not all phenomena could be...
If you throw an apple, right, the law of physics we know that the apple will fall. That's just the prediction that we know that's gonna happen, right?
Predicted by
I kicked the camera.
Newtonian laws. But a meteorologist named Edward Lorenz made chaos theory a visible phenomenon. It all started in 1961,
What did he do?
when he was working on a mathematical model to forecast the weather. Lorenz entered data such as temperature, humidity, pressure, and wind direction into his computer. His computer would draw a graph, modeling what the weather would be like. Not always accurate, but very close to reality.
Isn't it crazy that with computing, you can add a bunch of data and then it will predict very accurately what might happen in the next couple of days. In this case, the weather. You can just kind of do some predictions with computing and simulate the future. That is insane. I still do not comprehend how does that even work? You know what I mean? Like, how is that even a possibility, like a computer?
One morning, Lorenz decided to verify some results. He stopped...
Like freaking Bluetooth. How does a Bluetooth work, bro? Like, it makes no sense in my brain.
Computer to save time, entered the numbers himself, and went to grab a coffee. When he returned,
he entered the numbers wrong.
The chart was incredibly different from the original. At the beginning, it started out pretty similar, but in the middle, it presented a completely different trajectory. Surprised, he checked the numbers. He found that the number he had entered was 3/10 less than the number used by the computer. That difference, which altered the trajectory so much, is equivalent to a particle of dust on the Eiffel Tower.
What? You're telling me that a particle in the Eiffel Tower, a dust particle, can actually change the trajectory of something that dramatically?
one less feather in the weight of a duck.
What? So one less feather can change the we can if in a different reality a freaking duck lost one extra feather, that reality might be like completely different from what we know now. Could be a world of ducks instead of humans. That blows my mind.
Lorenz deduced that this experiment was not a special case, that there were other systems in which tiny differences produced, over time, monumental changes, making everything seem unpredictable. That the flapping of a butterfly in Brazil could, in theory, cause enough of a disturbance to spark a tornado in Texas.
That's too much, bro. How is that even a possibility? I understand that mathematically it makes sense, but I do not accept it. I do not accept that variation. How is that even a possibility that if you remove a butterfly, it might create a freaking tornado in Texas?
Even though we have a good idea of how the universe works, there are no measurements that allow us to determine the exact position and speed of every atom in the universe. And this inaccuracy in our calculations makes predictions difficult. One of the reasons why long-term prediction is impossible. But chaos is not the same as disorder. Although chaos makes predictions difficult, the universe is not random, and effects still follow causes. And no matter how chaotic it may seem, a system always follows a trajectory towards a certain point. For example, in the calculations Lorenz used for his model, the trajectory created a pattern that resembled the wings of a butterfly.
Oh, is that why it's called the butterfly effect? Because the pattern that the computer simulation created resembles a butterfly? That's actually kind of cool. I didn't know that.
Understanding these patterns of chaos has practical applications. In the stock market, it reminds us that a slight fluctuation can cause a crisis in the market. And that is why we cannot speak of predictions, but of probabilities. In the human body, it allows us to understand the chaotic behavior of a heart with cardiac arrhythmia. Even in human behavior, the butterfly effect can be used to analyze social phenomena. For example, how trolling on social networks can be triggered by a single negative comment.
So butterfly effects basically like a computer simulation of a bunch of data and then trying to predict the future in the most accurate way. So it's not that like, oh, this is going to happen, but like there's all these probabilities, but it's just uncertain, right?
Our universe continues to obey the laws of cause and effect. The sun will continue to rise every morning. The planes we build will keep flying. Ultimately, chaos theory introduces an element of uncertainty into our reading of the universe. It reveals the limit of our knowledge.
Bro, that's crazy. I don't know what to think about it. Like, I just can't accept the fact that that could actually be a possibility. So does it mean that like if we do scale it to like the universe, let's say the universe is so big, right? And everything is following this trajectory, right? So let's say we remove the sun out of solar galaxy. Like, will it affect whatever is happening? Like maybe in a couple of million or billions of years of what's gonna happen in the other side of the universe, or is it gonna like, you know what I mean? Like, does this law apply to any type of situation? Because the universe is just so big that it could be like, you know what? It's just, even if it does change something, it won't change much. But what if like if you remove one star and then suddenly like the whole universe collapses and we don't even have a universe anymore? You know what I mean? Bro, no, it's just too much. I just can't even comprehend it. So I just let me know what you think. All right, let's watch the next one.